I'll write the first part of your story in a simple third-person style using basic English and Korean names. Here's a small, interesting 800-word story based on first contact gone wrong. The stars glittered coldly as the human ship drifted at the edge of the Proxima system. Captain Daeho looked out at the vast emptiness of space. His ship, the Earth diplomatic vessel Unity, was alone in the darkness. "Any response to our messages?" Daeho asked. Officer Min shook her head. "Nothing yet, Captain. For 3 days they had sent greeting signals toward the alien station. The Galactic Hegemony, as they called themselves, had ruled this part of space for thousands of years. Humans were newcomers, having only reached the stars 50 years ago. They're ignoring us," said Security Chief Jin. "Maybe we should turn back." Daeho frowned. "Earth Command wants peaceful contact. We wait." Suddenly, the ship's computer beeped loudly. "Captain, 5 ships approaching fast," called Min on the main screen. 5 arrow-shaped vessels appeared, moving with incredible speed. They were sleek and silver, unlike anything humans had built. Each one was at least 3 times the size of the Unity. "Are their weapons active?" asked Daeho. Jin checked his screen. "I can't tell. Their technology is too different." "Open all communication channels," ordered Daeho. "Send peace messages on all frequencies." The alien ships formed a circle around the Unity, trapping it. Then a face appeared on the screen. The alien had gray skin, 6 eyes, and no visible mouth. When it spoke, the words came through the translator. "Human vessel. You have entered hegemony space without permission. This is forbidden." Daeho stood, tall. "I am Captain Daeho of Earth. We come in peace, seeking friendship between our peoples." The alien's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. "Earth is not recognized by the Hegemony Council. Your kind are primitive and unworthy. Leave immediately." "We have traveled far to meet you," Daeho said calmly. "We only ask for a chance to talk." "Talking with lesser species is pointless," the alien replied. "The hegemony has ruled the stars for 10,000 years. You have nothing to offer us." Chief Jin whispered, "Captain, I don't like this. They're moving their ships closer." Daeho tried again. "We come with knowledge and friendship. Earth wishes to join the galactic community." The alien commander made a sound like grinding metal. "Your request is denied. The hegemony does not need new members, especially weak ones. Return to your planet and do not contact us again. At least let us share information about our cultures," Daeho said. "We have much to learn from each other." The alien's eyes flashed red. "You misunderstand your position, human. This is not a negotiation. The hegemony gives orders, and lesser beings obey." Suddenly, Officer Min shouted, "Captain, they're charging weapons." "Raise shields," ordered Daeho. "Try to break free." The Unity's engines roared to life, but the alien ships moved too quickly. A blue beam shot from the lead ship, striking the Unity's side. The human vessel shook violently. "Shields at 40%, Jin reported. "One more hit like that and we're finished." Daeho gripped his chair. "Send emergency signal to Earth. Tell them what's happening." Min worked frantically at her station. "Message sent, but I don't know if it got through their jamming." Another beam struck the Unity, sending sparks flying across the bridge. Smoke filled the air as systems failed. "Shields down! Hull breach on Deck 3!" Jin shouted over the alarms. The alien commander's face appeared again on the screen. "This is your first and final warning. The hegemony will not tolerate human expansion. Return to your solar system and remain there or face extinction." The alien ships backed away, leaving the damaged Unity drifting in space. 3 days later, on Earth, the Emergency Council gathered to hear the Unity's distress message. The room was silent as they listened to Captain Daeho's final report. Admiral Jiwoo stood before the council, her face grim. The Unity was destroyed after sending this message. All crew lost. "And the aliens?" asked the council president. "The hegemony has now attacked our Mars colony," replied Jiwoo. "They destroyed the main dome, 2,000 colonists dead." Angry voices filled the room. The president raised his hand for silence. "What options do we have?" he asked. Jiwoo's eyes were cold. We have only one ship capable of fighting back. The UES Vengeance. The experimental Dreadnought. The president looked surprised. It hasn't completed testing. It's ready enough, said Jiwoo. And I volunteer to command it. The room fell silent again. You understand what you're asking? The president said quietly. One ship against an entire galactic empire? Jiwoo nodded. The Vengeance has technology the aliens haven't seen. We can hit them hard, make them regret attacking us. The president looked around the room, then back to Jiwoo. Prepare your ship, Admiral. Show these Galactic Overlords that humans aren't to be underestimated. Here's a simple, interesting story for part 2 of your sci-fi series written in basic English from a third-person perspective. Supreme Overlord Crag slammed his fist on the council table. The holographic images of 6 alien commanders flickered before him. Impossible, how can one human ship destroy 3 of our outposts? He roared. The galactic hegemony ruled thousands of worlds across the galaxy. Their technology was superior to all other species. Yet reports kept coming in about a human vessel causing destruction throughout their territory. The ship is called Vengeance, said Commander Ela, her tentacles twitching nervously. It appeared in the Rigel sector 3 days ago and has been moving deeper into our space. Krog's 4 eyes narrowed. Humans are primitive. They only achieved space travel recently. One ship cannot be a threat to us. A new alarm sounded. The central display showed another outpost going dark. That's 4 now, said Science Minister Yun. The humans are using technology we don't understand. On board the UES Vengeance, Admiral Jiwoo looked at the tactical display with satisfaction. The ship moved silently through space, its special shields hiding it from hegemony sensors. Target destroyed, reported Tactical Officer Taeho. No survivors detected. Jiwoo nodded. Good. Set course for the next target. The Vengeance was Earth's secret weapon. While other human ships used standard engines and weapons, this one had something special. Phase shift technology. It could partly slip between dimensions, becoming almost invisible until it attacked. Admiral, called Science Officer Somin, I've analyzed their communication patterns. They're panicking. Jiwoo smiled. Good. Fear is our ally now. Back in the Hegemony Council chamber, the mood was growing darker. Reports of the human ship had spread across their empire. For the first time in thousands of years, the mighty hegemony felt afraid. We must destroy this ship immediately, demanded War Minister Grok. Send the entire fleet if necessary. Craig shook his massive head. We cannot show weakness. One human ship is not worth our entire fleet. But this ship is different, insisted Science Minister Yun. Our sensors can barely detect it. It seems to exist partly in another dimension. This is technology we thought impossible. A junior officer rushed into the chamber, breaking all protocol. Overlord, the human ship has destroyed our primary fuel depot in Sector 9. Silence fell over the room. Sector 9 was supposed to be the most heavily guarded region in hegemony space. How did they even find it? Whispered Commander Ela. That location is top secret. Meanwhile, on the Vengeance, Communications Officer Jun Ho had made a breakthrough. Admiral, I've cracked their encryption, he reported. We now have access to all their secret communications and star charts. Jiwoo reviewed the new information with growing excitement. Look at this. The hegemony has been lying to everyone. They claim to be all-powerful, but most of their fleet is just for show. They only have a few truly advanced ships. Engineer. Hana pointed to another section of data. And their defense systems all use the same frequency patterns. We can disable them with a single pulse from our main cannon. Jiwoo gathered her officers. Earth sent us on what seemed like a suicide mission. One ship against an empire. But now we know the truth. The hegemony has ruled through fear and lies, not superior strength. What's our next target, Admiral? Asked Taeho. Jiwoo studied the star chart. Here, their main shipyard at Centauri Prime. If we destroy it, we cripple their ability to build new warships. On the hegemony homeworld, Crag called an emergency meeting of all planetary governors. For the first time in his long life, he felt true fear. The human ship moves like a ghost through our defenses, he told them. It knows our secrets. Somehow these humans have technology that challenges our own. Perhaps we should offer peace, suggested one governor. Never, shouted Cragg. We have ruled the stars for 10,000 years. We will not bow to primitives. But as alarms sounded again and reports came in of the Vengeance approaching their most important shipyard, doubt crept into his mind. In his private chamber, Cragg studied the few images they had captured of the human ship. It was smaller than hegemony vessels but moved with incredible speed and precision. He had underestimated these humans. A terrible mistake. Prepare my personal battle cruiser, he ordered his guards. I will hunt down this human ship myself. As the Vengeance continued its journey deeper into hegemony space, leaving destruction in its wake, one thing became clear. The balance of power in the galaxy was changing forever. Here's a simple, interesting story for part 3 of your sci-fi series, written in basic English from a third-person perspective. Admiral Zur stood tall on the bridge of the hegemony flagship Invincible. He was a legend among his people. In 300 years of service, he had never lost a battle. Show me this. Human ship that everyone fears, he commanded. His crew brought up images of the UES Vengeance. It looked small compared to the massive hegemony vessels. This is what has the Council in panic? Zur laughed. I will crush it within a week. The Invincible led a fleet of 20 warships, the largest force the hegemony had assembled in centuries. Their mission was simple: find and destroy the human vessel that had caused so much damage. Meanwhile, the Vengeance hovered near a small green planet in a forgotten corner of hegemony space. Captain Mireille and her special operations team prepared for their mission. The natives of this world are called the Nethel, Mireille told her team. They've been slaves to the hegemony for centuries. Our scans show they're being forced to mine rare minerals. Lieutenant Haijin checked her equipment. Will they help us? We'll find out, said Mireille. Admiral Jiwoo believes we need allies if we're going to survive out here. Their shuttle landed in a thick forest near a Nethel village. The aliens were tall and thin with blue skin and large eyes. They ran when they saw the humans. We come as friends, called Mireille, holding up empty hands. We fight against the hegemony. Slowly, one Nethel stepped forward. You fight the Masters? Its translator said. Yes. We've destroyed several of their outposts already. The alien's eyes widened. Impossible. No one can defeat the Masters. Mireille smiled. We can, and with your help, we can free your people. Across the galaxy, Admiral Zur grew frustrated. The human ship kept disappearing from their sensors. How do they do it? He growled. No ship can just vanish. His second-in-command approached carefully. Sir, we've lost contact with the mining colony on Nethel. Zur slammed his fist down. The humans are there. Set course immediately. On the Barma Vengeance, Communications Officer Junho monitored hegemony transmissions. Admiral, they've figured out we visited Nethul. Zur's fleet is heading there now. Admiral Jiwoo nodded. Perfect. The trap is set. When Zur's fleet arrived at Nethul, they found nothing. The mining operation was abandoned and there was no sign of the human ship. Search everything, ordered Zur. As his ship spread out around the planet, sensors suddenly blared warnings. Multiple objects approaching, shouted a crew member. Hundreds of small asteroids moved toward the fleet. But they weren't asteroids, they were mines, placed by the Vengeance and the freed Nethel. Explosions ripped through 3 hegemony ships before they could react. As the fleet scattered in confusion, the Vengeance appeared behind them, firing its main cannons. Impossible, screamed Zur as the Invincible shook from direct hits. How did they get behind us? The Vengeance vanished again before they could return fire. 2 more hegemony ships exploded. Zur ordered a retreat, his perfect record shattered. For the first time in centuries, the mighty hegemony fleet had been defeated. Back on the Vengeance, the crew celebrated with their new allies. Over 50 Nethel had joined the human ship. The hegemony told everyone they were invincible, said the Nethel leader to Admiral Jiwoo. Now others will know the truth. That's exactly what we want, replied Jiwoo. We need to spread the word to other oppressed worlds. Meanwhile, Captain Mirai's team had captured valuable information from a hegemony command post during the battle. Admiral, look at this, she said, showing Jiwoo the data. It's the location of their central command center, the heart of the hegemony. Jiwoo studied the coordinates. This is what we've been looking for. But Zur won't fall for the same trick twice. He'll be hunting us with everything they have now. Good, said Mirai with a smile. Let him come. The more ships he brings, the more we'll see when we defeat them. As the Vengeance jumped to a new location, word of the battle at Nethul spread across the galaxy. For the first time in thousands of years, hope began to grow among the countless worlds under hegemony rule. Here's a simple, interesting story for Part 4 of your sci-fi series written in basic English from a third-person perspective. Science. Officer Doyan stared at the ancient files on her screen. After capturing a hegemony data center, the crew of the Vengeance had gained access to historical records never meant for outsiders. Admiral, you need to see this, she said quietly. Admiral, Jiwoo looked over her shoulder. The files contained videos and documents from thousands of years ago. They showed the early days of the hegemony. They've been lying about everything, whispered Doyan. The hegemony didn't unite the galaxy peacefully. They destroyed entire civilizations. Some were more advanced than they were. Jiwoo's face hardened as she watched the evidence. These records show they stole most of their technology from species they wiped out. The bridge crew gathered around. They saw images of beautiful worlds reduced to ash, of alien races pleading for mercy before being destroyed. The Hegemony Council has hidden this truth for 10,000 years, said Doyan. They present themselves as wise rulers who brought peace, but they're conquerors who rule through fear. Ambassador Sung Ho stepped forward. We need to share this with everyone in the galaxy. Jiwoo nodded. Can we broadcast on all hegemony frequencies? Communications Officer Jun Ho smiled. With the codes we captured? Absolutely. On the hegemony homeworld, Supreme Overlord Crag was addressing the Grand Council when the screens around them suddenly changed. The faces of the human crew appeared. What is this? Crag demanded. Ambassador Sung Ho spoke clearly. People of the galaxy, I am Ambassador Sung Ho from Earth. The hegemony has lied to you for thousands of years. The broadcast switched to the ancient records. All across hegemony space, billions of beings watched the truth unfold. They saw the false history they had been taught crumble before their eyes. The hegemony did not save the galaxy from chaos, continued Sung Ho. They created the chaos. They destroyed advanced civilizations and stole their technology. They are not gods. They are tyrants. Crag screamed for his technicians to stop the broadcast, but it was too late. The signal was coming from too many places at once. On 1,000 worlds, the truth sparked action. Species that had lived under hegemony rule for generations began to resist. Slave revolts erupted on mining planets. Colonial governors were overthrown. Back on the Vengeance, the crew watched as reports flooded in. It's working, said Jiwoo. The Empire is breaking apart from within. But their victory celebration was short-lived. Alarms blared across the ship. Admiral, called Tactical Officer Taeho. Massive fleet approaching. It's Admiral Zur with every ship the hegemony has left. On the main screen, hundreds of hegemony warships appeared, led by the massive Invincible. They're desperate now, said Jiwoo. With their secrets exposed, force is all they have left. A transmission came through. Admiral Zur's face appeared, his expression cold with rage. You have caused enough trouble, humans, he said. Your lies and deceptions end here. No more games. No more hiding. Face us in open battle if you dare. Jiwoo looked at her crew. They had achieved so much with one ship, but now they faced the entire hegemony fleet. The odds seemed impossible. What are your orders, Admiral? Asked Captain Mirai. Jiwoo studied the tactical display. Then she smiled. Chief Engineer Hana, is that special project you've been working on ready? Hana nodded. Just finished it, this morning. One massive EMP calibrated to the exact frequency of hegemony shields. It won't destroy their ships, but it will disable them. Perfect, said Jiwoo. We don't need to destroy them. We just need to show the galaxy that they can be defeated. She turned to face the screen where Admiral Zuor waited. We accept your challenge, Admiral. Let's finish this. As the Vengeance moved toward the massive fleet, billions across the galaxy watched. The myth of hegemony invincibility was about to be tested one final time. Here's a simple, interesting story for Part 5 of your sci-fi series written in basic English from a third-person perspective. The Vengeance faced the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. One small human ship against hundreds of hegemony warships. The battle that would decide the future of the galaxy had begun. All hands, battle stations, ordered Admiral Jiwoo calmly. Execute Plan Omega. The Vengeance shot forward, directly, toward the center of the enemy fleet. The hegemony ships fired their weapons, filling space with deadly energy beams. Evasive maneuvers, called Jiwoo. Get us within range of the flagship. Pilot Sunho's hands flew across the controls. The Vengeance moved like no ship the hegemony had ever faced, dancing between enemy fire, phasing in and out of normal space. They're surrounding us, warned Tactical Officer Taeho. Perfect, said Jiwoo with a smile. That's exactly where we want them. On the Invincible, Admiral Zuor watched the human ship with growing concern. Despite being surrounded, the Vengeance showed no fear. What are they planning? He muttered. No captain would fly into such an obvious trap. Sir, the human ship is within range of our main weapons, reported his second-in-command. Fire everything, ordered Zuor. Destroy them now. But as the hegemony fleet prepared to fire, Chief Engineer Ha-Na activated the special device on the Vengeance. A pulse of invisible energy spread outward from the human ship, touching each enemy vessel. One by one, the lights on the hegemony ships flickered and died. What's happening? Demanded Zuor as his own ship's systems began to fail. On the Vengeance, the crew watched as the mighty fleet became powerless, drifting helplessly in space. EMP successful, reported Hana. All hegemony ships are disabled but intact. Life support systems remain functional. Jiwoo nodded. Open a channel to the Invincible. Admiral Zuor's face appeared on screen. For the first time, fear showed in his eyes. Finish it then, he said. Destroy us. No, replied Jiwoo. That's not why we came. She stepped forward. For 10,000 years, the hegemony has ruled through fear and destruction. We could destroy you now as you would destroy us. But humans are different. We offer another way. Across the galaxy, billions watched the broadcast as Jiwoo continued. Today marks the end of the hegemony and the beginning of something new. A true alliance of worlds where all species have equal voice and equal rights. Ambassador Sung-ho stepped forward. We invite all species, including yours, to join this new alliance. Not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. 3 days later, on the neutral world of Zenith Prime, representatives from 100 worlds gathered in the Great Hall. Former enemies sat side by side. The once mighty hegemony leaders now occupied the same simple seats as everyone else. Ambassador Sung-ho stood before them all. Today we create the United Galactic Alliance. No species will rule over another. All will have a voice in our shared future. One by one, the representatives came forward to sign the new treaty. Last to approach was a hegemony council member, his eyes downcast. Why did you spare us? He asked Sung-ho quietly. You could have destroyed us all. Because true strength isn't about destruction, Sung-ho replied. It's about building something better. Outside the Great Hall, the UES Vengeance hovered in orbit, battle-scarred but proud. On its bridge, Admiral Jiwoo looked down at the planet where history was being made. Mission accomplished, she said. Time to go home. As the ship turned toward Earth, Captain Mirai asked, Do you think it will last? This peace? Jiwoo smiled. It won't be easy, but we've shown them something they never expected from a primitive species, mercy. The Vengeance activated its engines, Leaving behind a galaxy forever changed, the ship that had terrified the mighty hegemony had accomplished what no one thought possible, transforming an empire of fear into an alliance of hope. Across the stars, a new era had begun, as just beginning.